Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mornings LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. Big, exciting, great news about your stimulus, your second stimulus, your third stimulus. As Wall Street reacts to the news on election results, focuses on the new jobs number and new jobless number, details the concerns about where stimulus is and isn't in the economy, and focuses on debt. That thing that costs some money to pay for some stimulus. It's not free. It's, you have to spend a few dollars. And this is amid the news as new COVID-19 cases are rising, and there's concern for lockdown across the country. So how will we get there? Well, we're getting there. You're going to get your stimulus. That's incredible, great news. And the path to get the stimulus is laid. The question is how soon the eggs will hatch. It's not Easter, but it might as well be. We're just on the brink of getting the stimulus coming in your hands, and this is Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mornings LA with an exciting, great day, and the news is all good across the board. I'm so excited for you. It's a great news day with exciting news about stimulus, second stimulus, and third stimulus as all eyes are on Wall Street. The Federal Reserve Chair will speak again today, and I'll be speaking a little bit today as well. Yeah, I have a few words to say today, so hope you tune in all throughout the day. It's a great day, and coming up right after this is our new hit series, Holidays LALATE at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, which is 3 o'clock on the Eastern Coast, East Side. The East Coast. Holidays every day features stimulus coverage, but also the second half of the recording is about the holidays, and I have great stuff for you as well. If you've not subscribed to this channel, subscribe because you're going to get the most in-depth coverage of everything you need to know to get your feet financially stable on the ground throughout the winter months, and we're going to have an incredible blast and a great family here. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the alert button so you can alert when a new video goes live. You don't want to miss if I go live or a video goes live. There's so much coverage, there's so much news, and there's so much happening this morning. So I'm so glad you joined me. First, I'll be going over where the stock futures were supposed to land this morning and where they actually are landing. Then I'll be going over job growth. This is job growth for the month of October. I'll be going over new labor numbers that indicate where your stimulus could be coming. Second stimulus, third stimulus, and first stimulus outstanding payment that is, past due. Please play soon. I'm the bill collector for the Stimulus Society. And this is new labor numbers out this morning. Next, I'll be talking about debt. The debt that is needed to pay for stimulus from one of Wall Street's top investors, what he says about the debt. And then I'll be talking about backtracking economy. Will the economy start to narrow and get tighter and softer amidst concern about we're approaching about 120,000 COVID-19 cases per day, and the concern that the stimulus needs to get passed relatively quickly. So I'll be going over those details, and then, of course, the most important things, which is dollar amounts. And that is what's coming up this morning. So let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that you're owed stimulus, and the stimulus will be coming. And the stimulus will take several forms. So let me go over the forms, the amounts, the routing times, and all that incredible great news. First, you're owed a stimulus check for the months of the spring. The CARES Act 1 gave you one stimulus check if you were not an adult dependent. But if you were an adult dependent, then you did not get a first stimulus check at all. This time around, you'll get stimulus check or checks. The first stimulus package gave one check for the month of March, but never gave one for April or May. It was supposed to give hazard pay, didn't give hazard pay. It was supposed to give the remainder of the $10,000 EIDL grant, didn't give that as well. And so that is the cleanup. By all accounts, your next president looks like he will be Joe Biden and your VP will be Senator Harris. And she wrote the bill that has been the applauded legislation of this channel's viewers for months. $2,000 every month for 6 months or until the pandemic improves and unemployment goes away. Well, the pandemic is actually not improving, it's going the other way. Now we're approaching 120,000 new cases. We were about 110 yesterday. We were about 100 on the weekend. So we're adding about 10,000 new daily infection cases every 48 hours. So Karen, so by that account, you would qualify for her, America would qualify for her bill. That's $2,000 for every month for 6 months until the pandemic goes away. You may ask, what is the bill and what are the deal provisions when we're talking about the second stimulus? The great news is that it's all back to scratch. The reason why is because potentially you have new negotiators, potentially you have a new president, and potentially everything that was her way or the highway is now our way or the roadway. You like that one? I like it. That is because everything has to be done in a brand new suite. So if you're new to this channel and you're just joining me today and have never subscribed, please understand that everything that you have been fed over the recent months is out because her way, the highway was based upon the Democrats taking the Senate. They did not. It was based upon the Democrats holding the House. They did not. They lost seats. And it was based upon basically walking in and getting a rubber stamp of anything that she needed. And that's not happening. And so on 2 days ago, Mitch McConnell said, you know what? First item of business is stimulus. The first item of business is passing stimulus. So the Purple Power, the viewers of this channel, need to be on social media and tagging everyone involved to get this stimulus going. And you're owed multiple stimulus checks, these up to get up to the present. But then how about going forward? Yes. So the concern is with 120,000 new COVID-19 cases, you need stimulus checks. And those stimulus checks need to cover you into the lockdown months all the way to the spring. There will not be a vaccine and there will not be a therapeutic in mass quantities until at least late winter, February approximately, or springtime. The notions that it's going to be in December are just not true. So this is where the third stimulus checks come in. How much? Generally, you would argue for the same amount as the second stimulus at $2,000. Senator Harris said very frankly, and this is incredible great news, that $1,200 was not enough, that you need more than $1,200. So if with a Biden presidency potentially coming in, you would presume that is still the notion of how much stimulus you need. Second, FPUC. FPUC, FPEUC, and PUA. Let me go over all those deal provisions. Under the first stimulus package, PUA is expiring. Yes, it's expiring in a couple days. FPEUC is expiring as well. That is the thing that gives you additional weeks of coverage of UI. That's expiring in the next couple days as well. We can't have things expire, folks. We already know what has expired, and that's FPUC. And so what's important to understand is with all these things expiring, either you put them in a second stimulus package and carry them for many months, or you have a third stimulus package right behind it. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The drafts or the bills that died quickly in recent weeks, faster than a bad hairstyle, those bills said, you know what, we'll give it to you in December. Guess what? You can't do it to December because we need more weeks than that. And so this is the notion. You need more stimulus to carry it further on. It also needs to be retroactive to when it last expired. That's July. And so we all have that dialed in and we're very on book and everyone wants that to come. It would likely be 400 to 600, 400 to 500. I don't think it's going to be 600. And I don't think it's going to be 300. Then you have all the other things. Eviction moratorium is expiring in December. Mortgage forbearance is expiring in December. Rent aid needs to be passed, and that needs to be carried all the way until the spring. And then you have all those other things, EIDL grants, CDC grants, state and local grants, PPP loans, and EIDL loans. I don't know if the Lifeline grant, which is $50,000, will get passed. And so with that, there's incredible great news. Now, here's another new item of great news, which I didn't detail yesterday. I got to tell you, it's really quite exciting, is that Joe Biden's plan to tax the rich, his plan to do a $7 trillion infrastructure bill, those bills are not going to ever see light of day. And so the great news is that there's more focus on your stimulus. And what's also great news is that the $7 trillion that he wanted to do for highways and roadways is never going to get passed. And so all that money can instead be focused on stimulus. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to get $7 trillion of stimulus, but you're not going to have the $7 trillion eat up stuff of your stimulus. So this is incredible great news. So stock futures fell last night on belief that there was concern going into this morning. The market is now pricing in a Biden presidency with a Republican Senate, and that rotation is what we saw based upon that, said Alicia Levine, chief strategist at BN Mellon Investment Management. And there's an increasing risk that that's not the case for the Senate, and the entire move could be somewhat at risk as well. That comment was last night. I don't believe that comment is true today. The Senate will remain Republican. But the jobs numbers came out today, and this is what it said, according to CNBC. Employment growth was better than expected in October, and the unemployment rate fell sharply. And what were the numbers? The Labor Department reported this morning that non-farm payrolls increased by 638,000. They were expecting 530,000, and the unemployment rate was at 6.9, and the September level was 7.9. So both numbers did improve. This is really good news. It means that the economy is still slightly improving. This was high, and this is despite the lack of stimulus. So what does Moody's think about this and your stimulus? Well, there is still high risk that this economy will backtrack. If you can ask me, I think it's going to backtrack. I don't think it's high risk. I think it's absolutely happening. But Moody's is certainly conservative on their analysis this morning. This is what a CNBC report says. The U.S. economy, which has shown signs of recovery, should see its prospects turn given the intensity spread of COVID, says Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics. We're suffering a very high, significant re-intensification of the virus. I mean, 40,000 daily confirmed infections for 4, 6, 8 weeks, and now we're close to 100,000. That's going to start doing some damage. So he's saying, just 4 weeks ago, we were at 40,000 per day. Now we're at 100,000. Well, we're not at 100,000. We're at 120,000 now daily. And will the economy potentially contract? He says yes. I say yes, it will. It's not potentially. What is it? Come on now. Let's be clear with this. And this is why stimulus is needed right now. Of course, this is his quote. And then we have no additional fiscal support. Who said we don't have a fiscal support? I mean, you can see the confusion that some Wall Street analysts are out there with, and that's why I wanted to detail it for you. And then we have this, that billionaire investor Leo Cooperman, who's very well regarded. He voted for Biden, so I want to fully disclose that at the top because he may sound like a Trump supporter in his comments. He says, the overwhelming reality is that the Fed is just creating an environment of free money, and he's concerned there's too much debt. What he is saying, he's worried about all the debt that's going to be caused by stimulus. And he is actually a Biden voter. I'm assuming that the next 12 to 8 months, something will have to happen to change this environment and force the hands of the Fed. It may be dollar going to great lows and inflation picking up. You have to make a judgment whether it's justified, how long it's going to take, and what impact this is on the long-term impact. So this is quite interesting. Let me explain why this is actually great news. And what's confusing is that sometimes you hear these remarks and you're like, I don't understand. It just sounded like bad news. Can you explain this to me, LALATE? So let me explain what he's saying. He's saying we're taking on debt because we have stimulus coming around the corner. Okay, we got that. You understand that because I've been talking about that. That's the bond rate number. Remember I always said bond rate goes up because they expect stimulus coming, so hence it costs money for stimulus with debt. Okay, you got that because I've been talking about that for a few days. Then he says, well, you can't keep on taking on debt Okay. So then what? Are you saying not to take on debt? No, he doesn't say not to take on debt. What he's saying is that the Federal Reserve needs to come in and start doing something to help the debt to finance the stimulus. He's saying the Federal Reserve needs to start stepping in and doing something to help fund the stimulus. This is incredible, great news. And this is the first time you're hearing this morning, and this is why you stayed to the 14-minute mark of this video. He's saying that, hey, we have all the stimulus that we need to get done. We have all the stimulus that need to get passed and approved, and that it's going to cost money, and that ultimately that money will be debt, and that ultimately we, without any other support, will have an issue supporting that debt. And hence he says the person to support that debt is Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. And he says they will and they should do it. The question is, what will the Federal Reserve say today? Jerome Powell will be asked that exact question on today's FOMC Day 2 hearing. Yesterday, he made it very clear his answer to the question, which was the Federal Reserve has a lot more ammunition. The Federal Reserve has a lot more things out there it can do. The Federal Reserve will do more things. And this goes back to what we talked about over the last couple of days, that it costs a lot of money to go to the supermarket suddenly. Eggs going up, milk going up. I went to the market last night. It was not the market I usually buy my milk at. Usually I go to a market where the milk is cheaper. I'll just say it's a Kroger. Usually I get my milk at a Kroger, and their milk for some reason is very well priced. I mean, it's incredibly well priced, and it's generally about $2.30. In recent days, it's been $2.50 on sale when it's okay, you calling that on sale? It's always that price, but they call it on sale. So I was at another market last night, and their milk was $3.69. I was like, oh. And needless to say, I was buying groceries and I didn't buy that milk because I was like, $3.69. I couldn't get myself to buy milk for $3.69. Some of the viewers of this comment are saying that they're spending $5 on milk. I think there was a lot of viewers in Miami, South Florida, that said they were spending 5 gallons a gallon for milk. And I don't mean soy milk. I don't mean Calcito milk. I don't mean Sirloin's milk. You know, I know Sirloin is probably charging $10 for a gallon for his milk. I'm just talking about general milk. I'm just talking about the milk that's just like, poof, there's the milk. This is no special cow milk. It's just everyone's milk. And what's important to understand is that $6 is just a little bit pricey. So where are we then with the new day? Where we are with the new day is renewed focus on sending out stimulus. You need to be on social media and absolutely ramping up. Let me give you some words of advice for Purple Power, for the spirit of this channel, for the spirit as we go forward. Here's what I want to impart to you. First, I want you to keep it lively and festive and lighthearted. I asked you moments ago this morning if you wanted more. If we were to expand coverage on this channel, what topics would you like? Would you like it lighthearted, carefree, like our new hit show, Holidays LALATE at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Or would you like election coverage? He's contesting. He's going to court. He's going this. Needless to say, the vast majority said you wanted the lighthearted. So I will keep it lighthearted. And the promise is that you keep it lighthearted and we'll have a lot of fun. I love to deliver fun, lighthearted programming. It's more my character. He's going to court and he's contesting and, air zones for the Secret Service. I don't enjoy that. I enjoy lighthearted. And so coming up at 12 noon, I'll actually be even going over some of your reefs. We talked about Christmas reefs for the holidays and what type, or holiday reefs, or Thanksgiving reefs, or winter reefs, or non-denominational reefs, what type of reefs you like. If you did not watch yesterday's holidays video, please go watch it and then DM me your holiday reefs and we'll keep the message going. I'll be featuring some of your reefs on this morning's broadcast. And this is the exciting, great news. It's going to be a good day. What's important is you need to go on social media and you need to be pushing as the followers of this channel. You need to take these videos and share them on Facebook, share them on Twitter. What's important to understand is that as a community of the Purple Power, I don't want you to lose steam. I don't want you to lose hope, and I don't want you to lose focus. I want you to tag GOP senators, I want you to tag Democratic senators. I want you to really focus on the Senate because those are the ones that will hear you. You don't need to really tag the president anymore. I think the president's concerned about a couple of things. And with tagging and tweeting and sharing the image and sharing the message, we will get it out. Remember, push the narrative on how much stimulus checks, push the narrative on how much FPUC, and push the narrative on how much hazard pay. We're doing it louder than ever before, and you can't succumb to letting other people define your narrative because we have the power. If you've not subscribed, go to the Friends channel, subscribe, and together we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And it just started. So go to the Friends channel, subscribe, hit that alert button so you don't miss a new video when a new video goes live, and like this video. Coming up next is holidays, LALATE. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.